Hello, it is Keegan here, and this is the final week of BBR season number 7. We're playing against CB Marcus, and this game, unfortunately, doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Well, it means whoever wins isn't last place. That's basically all it means for this week. So, pretty meaningless game, unfortunately. I put a decent team together. I think I crafted this up the night before, and I think it'll be decent. We'll quickly go over the team that Marcus has. He has Garchomp, Slitherwing, Azumarill, Serperior, Moltres, Roaring Moon, Mew, Kilowattrel as his Terramon. That could be a flying type or a water type, Slowbro, and Porygon. So interesting matchup. There's a lot kind of going on here to be mindful of. He has, I think, an okay matchup. Kilowattrel as a Terramon is really hard for me to actually answer consistently over the course of this game. So that's something I have to be really mindful of. Roaring Moon is really good. I do have Clefable this week to manage that though. But Clefable is kind of going to be put under a lot of stress in this matchup to kind of answer all of the threats that Marcus has. So let's quickly go over the team. As I said, this doesn't mean really a lot at all, really, in terms of the context of this season. I'm going to be doing a reflection on both the WBG and the BBR next week. I just finished writing up what all of my thoughts for that. So expect that next week. We're going to get a lot more in depth on some of the things that went wrong these past 2 seasons of draft that we're just in. So let's get into this. Let's talk about the team and that we're going to bring and kind of what was going on here. So, basically a pretty standard Meowscarada set we have here. I have Play Rough this week because that's going to be really useful against things like the Slitherwing. It gives me another way to check the Roaring Moon in certain spots. Play Rough just gives me that extra additional coverage that I need. And Spikes are pretty good against this team, in all honesty. Doesn't hit the Moltres, but Spikes, puts a lot of pressure on the Slitherwing, which comes in defensively a lot. Puts a lot of pressure on Garchomp, Azumarill, and Serperior here. I have an Assault Vested Raging Bolt here. Assault Vest Raging Bolt does a good job of giving me an answer to special Kilowattrel. Good against the Serperior as well. It can come in a Moltres as well. There's a lot of things that's Assault Vest Raging Bolt can come in on to put a lot of pressure on defensively, and then threaten a lot of Volt switches. The only ground type that Marcus has is Garchomp, and it's really difficult to switch in Garchomp on a Raging Bolt when Draco is so free against his team, because his fairy type is Azumarill, so he can't even really confidently switch that in either, since Volt Switch is so free. So that puts him in a really difficult spot to play around this Pokemon. He's going to have to make some big plays to get going around that. Very standard defensive Clefable. I have Cosmic Power set up this week. I hadn't got to use this set yet, so I wanted an opportunity to do that. And I was going to go Mono Stored Power, but there's a Roaring Moon. But it's honestly very good in general. It can just operate as a defensive Pokemon for the majority of the game, and then Cosmic Power is set up its way in the end game against stuff like that Roaring Moon, or stuff like Stallbreaker Mew or Slitherwing. Skeledirge, very standard, especially defensive Hex set with Willow. Willow is very spammable in this matchup against this team. A lot of Pokemon that would like to switch in, like the Azumarill, like the Slowbro, do not appreciate. Well, I guess Slowbro doesn't really want to switch in. They don't really appreciate getting hacks. I guess Moltres would be the main switch into this Pokemon that could take the hacks, but I can really manage Moltres pretty easily with this team, depending on the set. If I have something like the Raging Bolt at pretty high health. Next up, we have Body Press, Resto Chesto, Bronzong. We're bringing some fun, a little bit more fun this week, of course. Iron Defense, Body Press. Rock Slide is here to hit the Moltres, and I have 104 Spit Out just to make it so I can live those hits a little bit more consistently to deal the Rock Slide damage with. I really wanted to go Trick Room, like weakness policy on this set. But it gets welled pretty easily in the early game, so we're going with this. And then we have Terra Fairy, Cyclizar, Life Orb. This is another way to check the Roaring Moon in this matchup. And then Rapid Spin is really good for hazard removal against the Garchomp, and that's why we're Fairy here as well. It gives me a good way to answer the Garchomp and allow me to remove hazards against it. So that's the team against Marcus. Let's get right into the final battle of BBR Season 7. So as we get into the battle, I have a Facebook memory that comes up of my high school ran a Gen 3 OU tournament. 9 years ago. And it's funny because I'm playing in this league to not finish last, and I won my high school Gen 3 OU draft, or not draft, OU tournament 9 years ago. So hopefully that is good omens for today. So let's see what Marcus brought. He's got Mew, Kilowattrel, Garchomp, Moltres, Roar Moon, and Azumarill. So kind of what was expected, to be honest. No Superior. Was actually pretty decent. That kind of helps out this matchup a little bit. In terms of not having to worry about that too much. We are going to lead with the Cyclizar because getting her Terra Fairy off early is going to be pretty important in this matchup. Just kind of as a, to get the Dragon type off it and make it a little bit more relevant defensively. But either way, good luck, have fun to Marcus. Super excited to play him because I haven't gotten to play him before. Even though this game has negative stakes, is what I would say. It's good to, you know what? I like, let's have fun to end the season. I like the Orthworm picture, and I still got the Bozo one. Kilowattrel lead, okay. Just gotta get my speed tiers up as well. Dude, please refresh with the freaking images dock. Okay, so this is always faster. Alright, so this Pokemon is always faster, and we have a Salt-Fested Raging Bolt, so there's really not really much to think about here. I would have liked to get my Terra off early, but I kind of expected, I'm going to be outsped here, and it's going to be certainly a move I don't want to take early to get my Terra off, so we can get our Terra off in another situation. We see the Terra come out here for Marcus. It's going to be Terra Flying. Now, our Assault-Fested Raging Bolt should be able to take this with relative ease, I would say. Oh, it's physical. Okay, well, that might change the math a little bit on this calc. Not too much. He's going to take that decently well. Now, he's definitely Volt Absorb here, but he's definitely got to switch out, right? I mean, he definitely has to switch out, but I still think I want to drop a Draco here. He can go Azumarill, but I can then Volt Switch off the Azumarill. So really, not really too worried about that. And I think going to Azumarill is kind of a tough play anyway. I expect something like a Mew switch in. At this point, if he's like a Spidaf Mew set, he might stay in and predict me to try to go for a Volt Switch to gain momentum. He could go into something like Garchomp predicting a Volt Switch, but he goes into Mew. Yeah, that was kind of the most likely play and the kind of the safest scenario that he could have had there. That did a absolute shit ton of damage. Jesus Christ. That is a lot of damage on that Pokemon. So we know that this Kilowattrel is flying and it has Brave Bird. So the question is what does this Mew want to do? I don't really want to stay in. I can just go into my Skeleturge. It's very Spidaf. And it's unaware, so it can manage most of what this Pokemon wants to do. And it should be in Hex range at this point anyway. I have a little bit of investment on the special attack side for specifically the Slowbro. So it should be fine here. Oh my god, and he has Scald! Scald is crazy! Oh no, that ain't good. Scalding in the face of Raging Bolt. So I definitely have to switch out, because that did a boatload of damage. Is this like Specs or something? Hold on. Yeah, so this is definitely choice Specs, so we can make it kind of an appropriate switch here to play around that and just go right back into... Do we go into the Raging Bolt? I can go into... I don't want to get damage on this. Man, I can go into this, but if I get burned, then that's just brutal. Yeah, let's just go back into Raging Bolt. So a burn here would be obviously unfortunate. 313, yeah, that does like nothing because I'm Assault Vest. And I don't get burned. Nice. Perfect. Okay. So the question here is, what does Marcus want to go into? I think if he goes Azumarill, I accept him going to Azumarill. I have to protect against Volt Switch. I have to protect here against him going Garchomp and just Draco. I do get burned. That is unfortunate, but I should, you know, just be able to pick up a kill here on the Mew, and Raging Bolt does pick up the Choice Specs Mew. And that is a good first kill for us. That is a Pokemon that was a potential problem in this matchup. Now we do have a lot of damage on this, which is not great. That does make this, you know, less likely to check a Azumarill, especially since we start slowly getting into range of actually being in range of Aqua Jet at a certain point, which is not great. Now I expect Garchomp to come out here, if I'm going to be honest. I kind of think it's going to be a Garchomp angle here. I don't know why I'm so paranoid that I don't have Levitate on this Bronzong. I do have Levitate. Okay, good. Azumarill comes out here. Interesting. Well, I am so one thing that's good about this situation is I'm outspeeding I outspeed Adamant Azumarill, and if he's Jolly Azumarill, he's Jolly Azumarill. That's perfectly fine. So I'm just gonna Volt Switch off on this Pokemon. I expect him to be Adamant Azumarill, so we're outspeeding all Adamant Azumarill sets, and then we get a Volt Switch off here. I don't think he'll go into Garchomp. That would really be a play that makes sense. You would just go to Garchomp initially, and he's gonna be Jolly. Interesting. Okay, so Jolly is good to know, but we do get a Volt Switch off, so that's a lot of damage. Oh my god, that must be Assault Vest. Is that Jolly Assault Vest? Yeah, that looks to be Jolly, very bulky Jolly Assault Vest here on that Pokemon. Now, Flower Trick from Meowscarada should just be able to pick this Pokemon off, I think. Especially, yeah, at this amount of damage, it's certainly going to be enough to get a kill here against the Azumarill. So that, you know, is an interesting bring. We were definitely creeping Adamant Azumarill, but definitely not Jolly Assault Vest with speed. So good bring on his part. Question is do I want to do anything besides just go for the Flower Trick? I could go for something like the knockoff to put pressure on the Moltres. I do still have a decent switch into Moltres, and I can sack off the Raging... Wow, that was a nice voice crack. I'm going to sack off the Raging Bolt. I'm just going to... does he play rough? I'm just going to Flower Trick. I'm just going to pick up my kill. Yeah, I guess he is going to go into Moltres. That should have been kind of an obvious predict on my part. Oh, he goes to Garchomp. Okay, that is not the play I predicted. Well, I am in Grass type still, so that actually makes this a little bit easier to check. I do about 50% to Garchomp, so we should be able to tell what this Garchomp is pretty easily. It's probably not Tank Chomp. This looks to be a roll for no. This looks to be a roll on. This looks to be a roll if I Flower Trick again, but I can Play Rough and kill. This looks to just be a no bulk Garchomp. So I'm just going to click Play Rough here. He looks to be Scarf Garchomp, actually. Interesting. Alright, so take a lot of damage, but we do get the kill here with Play Rough. So that's Garchomp down. Taking a lot of damage on our Meowscarada to get that, but we have some good win conditions in the back still. We need to manage this Moltres though. Moltres is kind of the one big thing kind of holding back this matchup a little bit. From being effective. And in comes the Kilowattrel. I don't know if this Kilowattrel is going to be Scarf or not, to be honest. This thing's super fast anyway, so it's just going to outspeed me. And probably attempt to kill. I can go into... I do have Iron Defense. Now, I kind of want to go into that after and click Rock Slide, because that puts pressure on the Moltres coming in. Do I want to sack off this... Raging Bolt? I still want that to be an option to check the Azumarill in the late game. Now that we know that it's Assault Vest, we can always click Thunderclap against it. Meowscarada at this point I think has kind of done its job. I don't think we have to do anything more with this, so I'll just click Knockoff. If we get a knockoff, we get a knockoff. He is going to U-turn off, so U-turn does pick up the kill here on Meowscarada. But he goes into either Roaring Moon, Azumarill, or Moltres, and that's actually kind of good for me in this spot. I actually am good with him going into either of these Pokemon. And he goes into Moltres. Okay, so this will give me an opportunity to bring in my Skeledirge here and gain some health back off on this Moltres. There's nothing I really have to worry about here. He could be Scorching Sands, I guess. Scorching Sands could pick up. He could be a very, very offensive set here. But if he is, then I can go into something like this after. I'm just gonna get a slack off here. He's gonna go for the Hurricane and miss. Unfortunate. What was the damage on that? That actually had that didn't have a chance to kill, I don't think. So unfortunate there for Marcus to miss that. I guess like we're not doing a lot to this Pokemon kind of anyway is another thing. I can just start going for boosts and kind of scout out his set a little bit. Or I'm gonna just go for another slack off. I guess what does he go into? I mean, even if he goes into a Azumarill, I'm gonna just sack off another Pokemon. I'm just gonna go for the Hex. We'll see what type of set this is. If it's something like a Specs, then that would be obviously. Whoa, that is Choice Specs if I've ever seen it. Okay, so that did actually kind of matter if I do get this Hex off. I do get a little bit of damage off on Hex, so that is Choice Specs Moltres. So it looks like he is just going for the game plan of just deal as much damage to me as quickly as possible. Now, I don't think I need Skeledirge at this point. I think Skeledirge just kind of outstayed its welcome, if you will. Kind of done its thing. So I'll just go for the Hex here. If he misses a Hurricane again, then that Pokemon can get dropped. So goodbye to Skeledirge, and now where do we go from here? We're kind of running out of offensive threats, to be honest with you. That is one thing that's like a little bit concerning at this point. We do have Cosmic Power Clefable in the back, which is still very, very useful. One thing I think I want to do here is go into my Cyclizar and get my Terra off. Because what I can do is get my Terra off, go for a knockoff, get rid of the Choice Specs here. And then be in a decent spot kind of against the rest of his team from here. Because then I can just U-turn, maybe sack the Raging Bolt off. And, he might actually be, decently scared of a Double Edge here from this spot and want to preserve this Pokemon. So I'm just going to click Knockoff. I think at this point I'm kind of playing to the end game of my Clefable. I think Clefable endgame should be kind of safe at this point, especially with Cosmic Power as my setup of choice. I should be able to deal enough damage as soon as this kind of Moltres is out of the way. We get a big knockoff here. That does a lot of damage. That Choice Specs is gone. Lose a little bit of HP. I'm going to have to eat a Hurricane. I guess I won't have to eat a Hurricane. As he's going to miss another Hurricane. So, am I getting a little lucky? Who's to say? Yeah, that one is pretty tough to see. Question here now is, how do I want to play from here? I don't think I knock again. This Hurricane's doing a lot. I think I kind of just want to go for... I'll just go for the U-turn here. I mean, this is pretty much risking Flame Body for no reason. Here. Alright, no Flame Body. I guess I'm different. That risks Flame Body for no reason, but I can just go into my... I can kind of just go into this, actually, I think. And start setting up. I guess I can't. This Hurricane's still doing a lot. I guess I'll just sack this thing off. Goodbye, Raging Bolt. We can bring in Bronzong after this and just click Rock Slide. We do live any Flame Thrower from that Pokemon. So that's good that we can do that. And once again, as soon as this Pokemon is kind of down, then we have kind of an infinite amount of ways to win the game here. So let's just go back into this. I could have probably gone into my my Cyclizar as well. Probably deals with that. But I think Cyclizar is also a really good way to kind of win the end game here. So I live any hit from this Pokemon. I've got enough bulk to do that. Just get a Rock Slide off here. Kind of sack this Pokemon off. And then the combination of Clefable plus Cyclizar, I think, should be able to kind of win me this game here. If he does go into the Roaring Moon after, then I can just body press that as well. That's the only thing that actually could be risky here, is if you set up Roaring Moon in the end game, then I might be in a little bit of trouble. But I think, like, this body press is doing a decent amount. Like, oh, he's just going to U-turn. Okay, interesting. So he's not trying to mess around with that. This actually does put me in range of Jolly knockoff. Jolly knockoff from Roaring Moon. And so he doesn't have booster, which is good, because that forces him into clicking something like knockoff here. And then Cyclozar can revenge with Terra Blast very, very freely here. Cyclozar does a good job of actually kind of cleaning up this endgame a little bit. I can also set up a Cosmic Power. I think this combination should be really enough to get us there. So I think what I want to do is just body press, get as much damage as possible. He goes for the U-turn. Okay, interesting. That U-turn damage should tell us a decent amount about the rest of the information that we need on this set. Is that like Bandit or something? No burn, please. No burn. Okay. Yeah, that looks to potentially be... No, it might be Choice Bandit, actually, U-turn. Which is kind of insane. I mean, at this point, I think I just sack this Pokemon off, and my Cyclozar actually does a good job of just winning me the game from this point forward. But I have to go with the Clefable first. So I'll just click Rock Slide here. The Flamethrower is going to come out. I should certainly be dead to this. Yep, there's no world where I think I lived that hit. So now it is... I think it's Cyclozar time first, because Clefable should win the endgame against the rest of the Pokemon, especially physical. Especially the physical, what's it called? Kilowattrel. And I just go for... Terra Blast should kill, and Terra Blast, it does not make contact, so I just click Terra Blast here. Not make contact, not risk any Flame Body shenanigans. And these two fairies should just pick up the should be able to clean up the rest of this game, I think. So there's Moltres down. That was a really big problem for this team. It was really, really difficult for me to manage that Pokemon effectively at all. And now let's see what he goes into. We know it's not Scarf Roaring Moon because of the damage on Bronzong, so that allows us to stay in freely and just click Terra Blast against it. He really doesn't have a good Pokemon to come into at this point, to be honest with you. Like, this Kilowattrel is going to take, like, 1,000,000 damage here, and it's Brave Bird. And even Azumarill, I think Cyclozar might actually just be able to come in and clean the rest of this game out. I don't know what his endgame win condition now would be around this Cyclozar. It looks like Cyclozar should be able to get it done. So this, alright, let's... So if he's Adamant, we outspeed, so we don't calc against that. We calc Jolly, Choice Band, 252, Brave Bird. Dude, why is that a range to kill? Why is Jolly Choice Band a range to kill this Cyclozar? That's crazy that that's the case. It's not a range against the Clefable though, so we just go to Clefable and we be safe. No reason to risk it. We know that it is Choice Band and Roaring Moon in the back, and Azumarill is Assault Vest, so Cyclozar can pick up the rest of the kills. We just have to be very, very conservative. We don't want to, we don't need to risk anything here. Oh, I forgot to include flying on the Terra type in here when I took the... What is this calc? Is that actually Adamant Choice Band? Really? Oh my goodness, that actually is Adamant Choice Band. Oh, I could just say it in. I lost a differential for no reason. That's tough. Well, I guess that's fine. I kind of would have expected to be Jolly. I had to play around that, but there goes Clefable. But I mean, this is definitely that had to be Adamant Choice Band, I think. I mean, if it's Jolly Choice Band Kilowattrel, then I guess I lose. And then there's not much that I could do about that. I guess I probably should have stayed in that spot, but let's go for the click here. It is Adamant Choice Band, or Jolly Choice Band, and I think I lose this game. Wow, I do lose this game. I guess I should have stayed in. With that, wow, just the the button clicking team comes through. Yeah, I guess I probably should have stayed in there and just healed off against the Kilowattrel. That was just a loose condition play, switching out the Cyclozar there. I think I tunneled a little bit looking at the calc on how much I was actually taking with Clefable there, thinking I had the opportunity to attack it back. So a little bit of a miscalc there at the end, which kind of sums up, I think, the season as a whole, and kind of just playing poorly for the most part. Should have had maybe a little bit more bulk on Cyclozar and just losing to some situations that I probably could have prepared better for. But that's the end of the video. That's the end of the season. We are doing a low tier league next. So that is the next league. That will start in about 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of videos in between then and now, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys later.